AITAH, if I don't attend a birthday party because I don't like the plan, a friend's birthday is coming up and I've been invited to celebrate with them. The plan is a hang at a park, followed by dancing at home, followed by maybe going clubbing on a Thursday. They're part of my closest group of friends, a group of about 10 people. We're all in our 30s and have office jobs. They have always enjoyed inviting many people from different contexts, work, school, hometown, etc. This time they gathered around 50 people in a group chat explaining the plan, and I don't know most of them, or have only seen them in these parties. This alone makes me incredibly anxious. I am and have been quite a social person in my life, but I'm at a stage where I don't really enjoy such big gatherings with so many people I'm not close to. I've attended these parties many times and I've often been very anxious and uncomfortable. There are often so many people that I have never really spoken to them, even during the event. I'm quite over the making friends era of my life, and I appreciate small gatherings way more. I prefer spending my free time nurturing meaningful relationships. I've been very open about this with my friends, so they know this about me. I am wondering what's the best course of action. I could just go and leave as early as I need to, knowing that at least I showed up, which is a way of nurturing the relationship. But I'm really dreading this. I'm trying to change perspective. Rather, for years I've stressed out over these parties, and I'm honestly done. I want to stop doing things I don't want to do, and I would like to hold this boundary in a healthy way. Of course, I could just say I'm sick the day of, which would perhaps be less problematic or painful, but that feels wrong in a different way, and it goes against my healthy approach to things. I think I owe it to myself to be clear. So I'm thinking that my only option is to actually say that I won't attend because I don't like the plan. Is this a horrible thing to do? Is it hypocritical of me to refuse to attend because it hasn't been fun in the past? How does one talk about a boundary in a nice way? I'm afraid I won't be invited to anything anymore. This party is just quite extreme for me, with 50 people in a park, followed by so many events and options. I was in a similar situation with another friend a few months ago. The plan was to go and drink beers, and I don't drink beer, so I also wondered what to do. In the end, there was a scheduling conflict, so that was the perfect way out, but I felt quite shitty about not being honest. I also would like to add that if thought about what I would like if I was in the other end of this. I don't think I would mind if they told me, sorry, no, I don't want to do this, so I won't attend. I am quite respectful of people's boundaries, and if I wanted to host a party in conflict with those boundaries, it seems like it's a possibility that some people won't attend. I guess my question is, in more general terms, if a friend wants to do something, do you need to just say yes without question and be there? AITAH for having to take the amount of antihistamines that the prescription said, so I, FTM 19, recently, since a few weeks ago, had a hell of a cold, though I might have sinuses because how I have almost every day or a few weeks per year. My mother, F39, have to phone for me to have an appointment for like 2 weeks ago Tuesday, I think. Went to it, have to explain mostly on how bad my sniffing and sneezing went to a fact it's either blocked nose or a yellow infection. So the doctor prescribed me to go and get 3 boxes of antihistamines, a nasal spray, and 2 eye droppers. The antihistamines shows I have to take 3 a day, while for the nasal spray is 2, and the eye droppers are like 4 a day. I was like kind of concerned, mostly focused to the eye droppers LOL because of how I never took them properly before. Yet my mom said I must take the amounts that sent me, and that from the prescription labels. When started taking them as usual, yes, I was still feeling iffy because of the cold still going, and that till next week I felt more better, and it was roughly the same time when my recent partner, M20, came back from his week holiday. From the nearly bottom part of England, me, him, and a few friends of ours went to a Friday youth club. I usually go just to chill out till we finished. Like an hour after that, we went to walk around town till we went to Sainsbury's to try to get something to eat of that. I started to feel a bit tired out of nowhere, while my legs feeling like they were trembling but isn't. My headache started to hurt, and I feel like I needed to throw up. But all of a sudden, it was a cough constant all this time, and it was like that around this time, before and after on bus, going home, at home, and so on, for like almost 4 days. And every time it happens with my coughing, I was constant spitting out a lot. That caused me to also lose my appetite for temporary, yet was eating, but not that much. Some of my friends said it was because I was dehydrated and wearing mostly dark clothing, which could have gone worse, but it was for like my insecurities reason and that LOL. So I tried drinking water, yet still throwing out spit and that, but not vomit. But wax also kind of stopping me from taking hydration because of the feeling inside of my chest. So when my partner told me about it, he said that I shouldn't take as many beds, though I went bit denial because of the prescriptions. But when I told my mom about it, apparently it was meant to say 1, not 3 a day according to the antihistamines box, because she also takes them. So would that make me the AH for not realizing about the antihistamines amount and when I'm supposed to need to take? Edit. Even if I took 2 or just missed some and yet still take them as normal, which probably isn't now, it's still been like this all this time since last week Friday. AITAH for not wanting to babysit my niece-nephews. Hi all, I, 22F, have an older brother, 37M, who has a wife and kids, 6M, 1F. For context, we all, along with our mom and dad, live in the same home. Also important context is we come from a South Asian background, so a joint family situation, even living in America, isn't uncommon. My brother and his wife work from home. My mom works. My dad is retired. I graduated and start working in a few months, but I'm full-time studying for a big licensing exam related to my career and used to be on campus. Now I'm home until I move out again for work. My nephew has full-time school, even in the summer due to his autism therapy. My niece is one, and when my mom doesn't have work, she will look after the babies so my bro and wife get to work in peace. And she doesn't mind it. When my mom is at work, they'll ask my sister-in-law's mom to babysit. However, some days randomly due to work conflict or whatever, my mother or my sister-in-law's mom are both not free to babysit my niece. My brother will ask me to babysit for a bit during the day, but I've made it clear that I am studying full-time on the weekdays and sometimes the weekends too. I do not feel that it is my responsibility to babysit and move around my study schedule. If I happen to be free and willing to babysit, then sure I can. But I've been getting annoyed that he asks me about afternoon times, for example, knowing I'm busy. I say no, and I can tell he is a bit disappointed, especially because I've been saying no a lot since I've been at home. My dad, who is generally available, is not the best with kids. His mental health issues and personality don't permit him to be patient around kids for the longest period of time. He will do it occasionally, but my brother almost feels afraid to ask him to babysit. I get confused though because my dad literally is free the whole day but isn't an option to babysit, but whatever. Last week my brother asked me if I'm free to babysit my niece for a couple hours midday because they had to take their son to an appointment. I said I'm studying at that time and I was like, "Did you ask Dad?" And he said, "No, I'm not going to ask him." And I'm like, "Well, I think you should ask him. I'm not free." And I left. Because why can't you ask him? He is at home all day, and you know I'm studying for a really serious exam and have studying goals to reach. Like, how much do I have to explain myself? Today is Sunday, and I'm so burnt out from studying all 6 days this week. I wanted one day to rot in bed and have time to myself. Yesterday, I even helped out planning my niece's birthday party and cleaning up and all things party related. My brother asked me if I could look after my niece for 1 hour, and I said, "Sorry, no, I'm going to study," even though I was just planning on rotting in bed. I feel bad for lying, but I just don't think he would understand that I don't want to babysit for even just an hour so I can relax. And knowing my brother, when he says he'll be back in an hour, he always takes longer than that and takes his sweet time running errands. For context, my sister-in-law would be taking care of their son. Due to his autism, he has a lot of outbursts when he is around my niece, so my bro and wife try to each take care of one kid. Like one parent looking after both kids at once is hard for them. Apparently, they've found a babysitter for the weekdays now. So maybe weekends will just be an issue, but I'm truly not in the mood to babysit, and it is not my responsibility. I can help out sometimes, and I know my mom is more willing to help out and she loves it, but when she isn't free, they end up asking me. The past few years when I'd come home from university during breaks, I would be happy to help sometimes. But I'm just frustrated, not that A, they've asked for my help knowing I'm busy, and B, the rare day I want to be alone and rot. I feel like I can't be honest about that. Also, what's important is understanding South Asian culture. It's hard to set boundaries. I plan to do that better when I move out. For now, I'm like gently, nicely trying to set boundaries and say no and explain myself. But the expectation is that if you're family and living in the same home, you help out, which I disagree with in situations like this one. So currently I'm typing this before I go rot in bed, but also feel a little bad that I'm not babysitting and that I said I'm studying. But truly, I just want to avoid babysitting. It's not my thing, and honestly, I'm not close with my family. I just can't wait to move out. TLDR. My brother often hints at me, to change around my schedule to babysit his kids on random days where other babysitters aren't available. AITAH for not wanting to babysit my niece, nephew, or making excuses to not babysit.